So today I'm going to take a deeper dive into some of the neighborhoods here in North County, and we're going to start with the neighborhood I actually live in, which is the neighborhood of Torrey Highlands. So I'm going to take this is going to be a little bit longer video than normal. Usually these videos are like 5 to 8 minutes, but this one could end up being about 20 minutes plus, because I'm going to try to show you all the neighborhoods in Torrey Highlands, what they all have to offer, what the schools are, what the restaurant situation is, coffee shops, all that good stuff. So we're gonna go start right now. Torrey Highlands is ideally situated at the gateway to North County, San Diego, right in the middle of the 56 freeway. This freeway often serves as an informal boundary between the city of San Diego and North County. Its central location makes it a convenient spot for accessing various parts of the region. You can reach Torrey Pines Beach in just about 13 minutes in downtown San Diego, or the airport in about 25 to 30 minutes. Additionally, Torrey Highlands lies in the heart of San Diego's tech corridor, with major hubs like the Apple campus in Rancho Bernardo, and tech giants such as Google and Qualcomm in the Sorrento Valley and UTC areas, respectively. Okay, so right now I am walking through the neighborhood of Montellano. So this area of Torrey Highlands is the southern part of Torrey Highlands, so it's south of the 56 freeway. There's 4 neighborhoods back here, and one's Montellano, one's called Avalon Point, San Lorenzo, and Cabrera. So right now we're walking through Montellano. They also have these little walking trails throughout the neighborhood, which are kind of cool. These 4 neighborhoods back here actually do not have a community pool, so if that's something that's important to you, this might not be perfect for you, but they do have lower HOAs. So if you're someone that doesn't plan on using a community pool, these neighborhoods might be a good spot for you to check out. And the good part about living on the south of the 56 here is you're right up against the Del Mar Mesa and the Penasquitos Canyon. So we're gonna go check out that in a few minutes. Just wanted to show you some of the neighborhoods here. A lot of these ones are cul-de-sacs too. So you got a cul-de-sac on this side, and they have a cul-de-sac over here. And at the end of this street, this is Chapala Canyon, is where the Del Mar Mesa Preserve is right back there. So you can go hiking, mountain biking, all that good stuff. So these homes in Montellano range from, I think it's 3,000 square feet to about 3,800 square feet. Some of them have like little casitas in the front. People turn them into like little ADUs. Got all these little doggy pet stations throughout the neighborhood, the super pet friendly neighborhood here. And I know we don't have a ton of community amenities, but with all this access to the canyons over here, super cool feature of it. We also have like a green space in there where we do all the community events, which we'll check out shortly. I'm gonna give you a little tour. The Penasquitos Canyon, we're not gonna do the full tour because it'll take forever and it's like 85 degrees outside. Here's some more homes for you to check out. I will say the one negative of this neighborhood is, I wouldn't say they have a ton of variety in the styles of the homes here. You'll see a lot of stucco, a lot of Spanish style roofs, concrete roofs. And the color schemes aren't very different. They'll be shades of grayish or tan for the most part. All these homes were built like in the 2002 to 2003 range. So if you want like a semi newer home, these are good ones to check out, because if you go into like older Penasquitos, the homes are a little bit older, like 80s and 90s. And I feel like the difference between 80s and 90s and the 2000 homes are actually pretty different. So there are a few entrances into the canyon from this neighborhood over here. This is one of them right here. This is actually one of my favorite houses in the neighborhood. One for sale for a few years ago. I was kind of bummed I didn't go for it, but it's like right on the canyon. As you can see, we're in the month of August right now. I just want to show you this house over here. It's super cool. So you have no neighbors to the right of you. You got a pool. You got the glass fence thing here. Super cool house. I always like this one. Oh, as you can see, we're in the middle of August. It's pretty dry out here. As you can see actually out in the distance, that's called, where that little path is, that's called Cardiac Hill, because it goes like straight up. And if you want a good workout, that's a good place to check out. So especially during COVID, my family and I would hike this quite a bit. We almost did it almost every day, just because there wasn't much to do other than be outdoors, which was great. This is probably not the best day to do this because it's like I said, it's 85 degrees and it's actually been a little humid here, more than usual, which we don't usually get a ton of humidity. One other, whoa, almost fell down the hill there. One other question I get from people moving to the area are, what kind of critters and wildlife do you get back here in the canyons? Well, you definitely get snakes, which I've been here for, what, almost 10 years now. I think I've only seen like 2 snakes this entire time. Granted, I'm not always out in the canyon. I have another friend that lives in the neighborhood, and he goes out here hiking quite a bit, and he sees snakes much more frequently than I do. You'll also get coyotes, so if you have little pets, and if you live on one of these houses that, oops, you can't see it anymore, where you back up to the canyon, definitely don't leave your small pets outside. You also get bobcats, you'll get, little critters. Every once in a while you hear about a mountain lion. I think about maybe 5 years ago, we heard about a mountain lion that attacked like an 8-year-old boy once. I think they had to put the mountain lion down, unfortunately, but the kid was okay, which is great. But you don't hear about that often. So as you get deeper and deeper into this canyon, like I'm probably only, well, you can see little sea houses right up on the ridge there. But the farther you get into there, the harder it is to see the houses. So you might only be, probably only about 30 yards away from those houses behind me. But you can really feel removed from the neighborhood pretty quickly, the deeper you get into here. I actually went hiking in here one time right before nightfall, like during COVID times. And I went like a different direction, but I had never gone before. And actually got lost in the canyon. I mean, I had my phone on me, so I kind of had a general idea where I was, but the brush gets so high over here. They have these things called like the tunnels, which are basically just trees that kind of overhang you, so you can't really see where you are at all. So it is relatively easy to get lost back here. At least it is for me. This is what I was talking about, the tunnels here. So we got this, see how it just kind of overhangs this crosswalk, which is great actually, because it's, like I said, it's 85 degrees out here today. So you get a lot of shade and it feels a lot cooler in here with all the tree coverage you got back here. And these are maintained by like the Parks Department, so they usually are relatively fairly groomed. Maybe not everywhere, but there's also like a stream that runs through here, which I'll check out shortly. So here you go. Got a little stream here. This runs pretty far. You go through these trails, you can kind of see it all the way through. When the winter time, this is usually filled up a little bit higher, but we're in August, which is probably the driest time of year. And as I mentioned, there's shorter routes, there's harder routes, there's steeper routes. This one I'm kind of doing the easiest one right now, to be quite frank, just because I'm trying to show you as much as I can on this video, see what it's like to live in Torrey Highlands. So there are parts of these trails that are supposedly closed off to the public. I have seen people go back there. I have also been back there, don't tell anybody. But it is best to stay on the trails, the designated trails, because they close those areas for a reason. The trail I am on right now will actually take me out right by the Intuit building, which is like the TurboTax headquarters for San Diego. So you'll also see a lot of people from Intuit doing this hike, because it literally takes you right to the back of the building. Closed that way. So I actually grew up in Pennsylvania, kind of the suburbs of Pennsylvania outside Philadelphia. And in the neighborhood I lived in, we actually had this big forest right down the street from my house. This kind of reminds me of that, which is maybe why I like this neighborhood. So I remember as kids, we used to run through there, play games, play hide and seek, go back there all the time. I remember getting a ton of poison ivy when I was a kid in that forest. So I believe we have poison ivy here in San Diego. I've never thankfully had too much of it or had it at all. As you see, they do have like little signs that kind of point you in the right direction in certain areas of this. So Intuit is the TurboTax building right in front of me. And then this will take you to the right, will take you to Deer Creek. All right, we're coming out of the tunnels. I will say, I don't recommend doing this hike in the middle of August, in the middle of the day. Just saying. As you can see here, protected habitat, the Del Mar Mesa Preserve. They show you what the difference between mountain lions and bobcats are. Just know mountain lions are a lot bigger. My plan was to try to walk the entire neighborhood of Torrey Highlands. also trying to lose a few pounds here in the meantime, so I'm going to attempt to do it. I probably should not have done it on the hottest day of the year. Okay, so I mentioned that the Intuit TurboTax building is super close. It is right there behind me. So this is how close it is to the houses. And here is Intuit. So if you work at Intuit, you want to be able to walk to work, all 4 of these neighborhoods would be good options for you. Just got through the canyon. I probably only did about a half mile, 3/4 of a mile back there, but there's definitely longer trails if you want to try it out. So now we're entering the other side of the neighborhood, which is Cabrera. So I'll take you around here, show you a few of the houses here. There's only 3 floor plans here. One, there's a 2,400 square foot, 2,700 square foot, and 2,858 square feet. So they're all at least 4 bedrooms, and one of the plans is a 5-bedroom. So let's go check it out. The difference, not a huge differences between Cabrera and Montellano. As you can see here, very similar exteriors to these. You got the stucco look, got the concrete tiles, got some Spanish tile on this side. Then they have these little canyons in between. So if you don't like neighborhoods right behind you or houses right behind you, these are good ones to check out because you'll just have canyons behind you, which is nice. But super well maintained neighborhoods here. As you can probably tell, this neighborhood has an HOA. It's only, what is it, $75 per month, I think? Yeah. And the ones that people complain about HOAs, but the ones that don't have HOAs, sometimes they don't maintain the neighborhoods as well, or their yards don't look as good. Overall, this is a very good looking neighborhood. Okay, I wanted to show you one area which I mentioned earlier. This is our big green space that we have in the neighborhood. Actually kind of backs up right to the canyon back here too. So this is where we do all of our community events, a block party at Memorial Day and Labor Day. So we get bouncy houses, taco carts. Also where my kids play baseball, football, turkey bowls when we play here at Thanksgiving. Perfect space to do it. You're gonna probably spend somewhere between $1.6 million to about $1.9 million for houses in Cabrera. And for Montellano, you're gonna be a little bit higher than that. So they probably start around $1.8, $1.9 million and go up to about $2.4 million right now. So obviously this changes every year, but just know if you're trying to budget for one of these properties, that's where they stand right now. Okay, now I am up on Torrey Santa Fe. This is kind of like the main road off of this off these 4 neighborhoods back here. Torrey Santa Fe is not a busy road, but you do get cars on there, as you can see. Safety is always a concern for people when choosing a neighborhood. Since I'm a real estate agent, I can't exactly say what makes a safe neighborhood, but I can show you some crime stats. According to the CAP index, which means crimes against people and crimes against property, which gives you a ranking from 1 to 10, 1 being the lowest crime rate and 10 being the highest, Torrey Highlands ranks either as a 1 or 2 in all categories. But obviously do your own research and see what makes sense for you and your family. Also, if you get any value out of our videos, please consider subscribing as it really helps us reach more people. Okay, so I just want to give you guys a quick frame of reference. Right now, we are at the corner of Torrey Santa Fe and Torrey Meadows Road. So we have the neighborhood of Cabrera right there. We have Montellano right down there. We have the Intuit building. You kind of see the top of it right there. This is San Lorenzo, start of it. And then this neighborhood is Avalon Point. So I'm going to show you quickly Avalon Point and San Lorenzo. Here is Avalon Point. I'm going to go check it out now. So again, these houses will not be dramatically different from the Montellano Cabrera neighborhoods. They will have different floor plans, so that's probably the biggest difference. And the yard sizes, I say, are pretty comparable to Montellano. Occasionally you'll get like even bigger lot here. And some of them will have like little casitas in the front or almost like in-law suites. So if that's something you're interested in, this could be a good neighborhood for you guys. Again, these were built in 2002, 2003 range. The one negative I will say about the homes, actually Avalon Point and San Lorenzo, is they are closer to the freeway. So Montellano and Cabrera are a little bit farther south. So if you don't love freeway noise, the farther north you go in Avalon Point and San Lorenzo, you'll definitely get a little freeway noise. So I can already start hearing it right now. It is kind of like a white noise, but everyone has their own preference on noise levels. These ones do have HOAs as well. They don't have a community park at all. They have a few like little gatherings places throughout the neighborhood, like little sitting areas, but Not really a place for the kids to run around. Honestly, they usually go over to our green space if they wanted to, because it's not strictly enforced or anything like that. Their HOA is also lower because of that, I guess, because I think it's only like 50 bucks a month in Avalon Point. So if you want that lower HOA, this could be a good option for you. One other thing I wanted to point out about Avalon Point is they have much wider streets here than they do in Cabrera or Montellano. So you can see it's super wide here, which I kind of like. It doesn't look as crowded because you get people parking on the street, and when it's a little bit more narrow, it feels a little tighter. And if you go over to San Lorenzo, which is right over here, the roads are super narrow. In fact, you can't even park on the street in the entire neighborhood. There's certain like designated spots you can park in, which I will show you next. So here we are entering San Lorenzo. So these homes are going to be a little bit smaller. I think the smallest one here is about 1,700 square feet, and they go up to about, I think it's 2,300 square feet. But with that goes a smaller price tag. So if your budget's around that, $1.3 to $1.5 million range, San Lorenzo could be a good option for you. I just wanted to show you the parking situation. So you can't park anywhere along here. So you'll see the no parking fire lane signs right here. And these are pretty prevalent throughout the neighborhood. But there are designated spots where you can park, which I thought there were some over here, but I don't see it. Actually, right around the corner there's some spots over there. And then there's one or two down this way as well. So I kind of like that people can't just park everywhere on the street because it doesn't fill up the streets, but can be kind of a nuisance because these driveways aren't very big either. Actually, this one's pretty big, but not all of them are. So if you have guests over frequently or you have kids that drive, there is not a ton of parking here for extra cars besides the garage and the driveway, just FYI. It's probably the most affordable single family homes you can get in all of Torrey Highlands. So I'd say that 1.3, 1.4 range is probably the cheapest you're gonna find here in Torrey Highlands, unfortunately. There are some condos and townhomes that we're gonna go check out here shortly, but for single family homes, San Lorenzo will be your cheapest option. So I also wanted to point out, they actually added this bridge not too long ago, right behind me. This goes over the 56 freeway. Before there was only one way in, one way out of the Montellano, Cabrera, Torrey Santa Fe area. And they added this bridge, I think it was about 2 or 3 years ago, in the middle of the pandemic. So it goes over the 56 freeway, as you can see. So like I was saying, if you get houses that are back up to the freeway right over there in Avalon Point and over here in San Lorenzo, you're definitely gonna get some freeway noise. So just keep that in mind. When you see a house that's priced really, really well over here, sometimes it butts up against the freeway. Well, I don't know if you can see that or hear that, but occasionally when you live over here, you will get some jets coming from Miramar Naval Base, which is just south of here. You don't hear it very often. I probably maybe once a month you'll hear a jet kind of fly overhead, if that. But we have the air show coming up soon, so maybe they're training for the air show. I don't know. Okay, so the next neighborhood we're on to is the neighborhood of Latitude. Whoops, did I see this over here? There you go, Latitude. I also call this Sunshine Path because the main road, there's only like 2 roads in this entire neighborhood, one of them Sunshine Path. So usually when I refer to this neighborhood, I say that, even though it's called Latitude. This neighborhood was built in, I think mostly in 2012. So again, a newer neighborhood. I remember coming down to San Diego and visiting my sister-in-law that lived over here, and I remember these were built. And this was one of the first times we considered moving to San Diego. We didn't move to San Diego until like 3 years later. But it's a super nice neighborhood back here. Again, these ones, we're gonna have smaller lots, not gonna have giant lots. Probably around 4,000 to 6,000 for the most part. But it is a good looking neighborhood. Again, not as wide as streets as they have over in Avalon Point, and this was only built, what is this now? I guess it's 12 years ago now, so a little bit ago. This also backs up to Torrey Meadows Park. This is the main and largest park in all of Torrey Highlands. So I'll show you that in a few as well. They also have like a little pocket park down the street from here, so we're gonna go check that out. And these houses, I think range between about 2,500 to 3,000 square feet. I think the biggest one's about 3,000, maybe a little bit less than that. I actually sold that house right in front of me over there to my clients. They're still living there. So right at the end of the street is this little pocket park they have here. Not much to it, but it's nice to just have something in the neighborhood that the kids can go to close by. I swear they had more things here before. I'm not sure if they got rid of them or this is the way it's always been. Got a little sitting area, little monkey bar type thing. But when this house was built, the park, the Torrey Meadows Park, which is right up this path up here. So there's a little back entrance to the park, which we're gonna go up here now. So this park was only built, I think it was around 2020 range, if I remember correctly. And before this park was built, we actually did not really have a public park for the kids to play in. Okay, so right now I'm at the back entrance of Torrey Meadows Park, right over here. You can get right into the park. So this neighborhood over here is called Torrey Ranch, which is actually a gated neighborhood inside of Torrey Highlands, which is one of the very few gated neighborhoods. And the neighborhood I just walked from, Latitude or Sunshine Path, it's right down the path here. So as you can see, they have basketball courts. They have this big open field here. This is actually where I actually put on a movie night here every October for Halloween. So we usually have the movie screen over by those benches over there. But I want to talk about weather here in particular, just since it's so hot here. As I mentioned earlier, the hottest months of the year here, probably August through October-ish, give or take. You won't get much rain here during the spring or summer. The wintertime can get a little wet. The last 2 years is actually the winter, but it has been pretty wet. The hottest it'll get here is probably into the low 90s. We don't get a ton of humidity, but these last couple days, it has felt a little humid. And we actually had some thunderstorms here yesterday, which are super rare, which I actually like a good thunderstorm, but we don't get a lot of them here. So in this winter time, you will not have to run your heater very often, but occasionally you will. I like it actually to sleep very coldly. So we usually, I think we'll put our heater on at like 62 or 63 degrees. Sometimes my kids don't like that, so we turn it on if they get a little cold. In the summertime, you will need air conditioning. I know some people will say, oh, San Diego, super mild climate, you don't need AC. I will beg to differ on that one, and I will take that to my grave. If you enjoy to sleep in a slightly cool environment, we usually keep our AC around like 72 degrees, which I wouldn't mind a little bit colder, but I digress. And when you come to visit San Diego, if you come in like April, May, June, you get the May gray and the June gloom. So if you're expecting perfect weather in those times of year, you're gonna be a little bit disappointed because the weather is, I actually kind of like that weather. It's a little overcast, doesn't get super hot. But if you want to go go by the beach and enjoy the sunshine, you might be a little disappointed at those times of year. I also wanted to point out that there are not many people at the park. I swear there are people that live here, but it's a hot summer day and a lot of people are either on vacation or indoors or at the beach. But I assure you there are plenty of families that live here. There's usually kids here. If you come here later in the day, today, probably around 5, 6 o'clock when the sun starts to go down a little bit, you'll see kids out here playing. In the middle of the summer when it's super hot, you're probably not gonna see a lot of people, only people stupid like me that are out here right now. So for you parents out there, this park does have bathrooms at it, which I know is an important feature when you have little ones going to the park. Got some nice play structures here. Again, they don't have a whole lot of shade on here, so if you're out here in the middle of summer, which most people are not at the moment, they do have these covered patios here, which you can do picnics and birthday parties and all good stuff there. Okay, so now I'm walking down Torrey Meadows Drive, just off the park right behind me. Walking this way. This is generally northeast kind of. So you'll see over here, there's this huge plot of land here, which I think it's owned by the city of Poway, or the Poway Unified School District. I think it was zoned for another school, but it's been vacant for as long as I've lived here. On the other side of it, right over there, you can kind of see the top of it, is actually Westview High School, which is the high school that governs most of the schools or most of the homes in this area. Over here to the right is actually the only area of Torrey Highlands that has condos or townhomes. So this kind of backs up to the shopping center area as well, which I'll go check out here in a moment. So this neighborhood right behind me is one of the few gated neighborhoods we have in the area called Torrey Ranch. And just because it's gated does not mean it's actually the most expensive. Most of these homes are kind of back there in the distance. I can't get in there because I don't have the code at the moment. I believe they range between 1,800 to like 2,300 square feet, and they usually sell for 1.4 to 1.6 range. So slightly, I wouldn't say affordable, but on the cheaper end of the homes here in Torrey Highlands. So, and if you like to be close to Westview High School, it's a good neighborhood for you because the neighborhood actually backs up right to it. This is the baseball field of Westview High School, right at the corner of Torrey Ranch and Via Forteza. So as I mentioned, this is Westview High School. It's kind of like the back end of Westview High School, but there's the baseball field. Sometimes they keep this open in the summertime. You can walk the track. People will walk the stairs over there. It's a super nice, well-maintained school. There's the volleyball, the beach volleyball court they have right there. That's the football field over in the distance. I'm probably not going to go all the way to the front of the high school, but this is kind of the back side of it. I believe this school was built in 2005. Definitely one of the most highly rated schools in all of San Diego, not just Torrey Highlands. I think it's in the top like 12 in all of California, which is obviously there's a lot of high schools in California, so that's pretty good. Schools are a big reason why people move to Torrey Highlands. All the public schools here are part of the acclaimed Poway Unified School District. There are 3 different elementary schools in the area, and surprisingly, none of them are actually in Torrey Highlands. We have Park Village Elementary to the south, Deer Canyon to the east, and Willow Grove to the north. Depending on what neighborhood you are in, you'll be zoned for one of these 3. Same goes for the middle school. You have Black Mountain Middle, as well as Mesa Verde Middle School. If you have a preference for a particular school, you can sometimes apply for an inter-district transfer, which the school district does its best to accommodate. This is definitely the smallest shopping center in the neighborhood, and it honestly doesn't have a lot of food options. But it does have my favorite pizzeria called Fresco Pizzeria in and along the 56 freeway. So we spend a lot of time there. So they got a little outdoor patio there. Good place to check out. The only other food place they have in here is Cotija's Mexican place, which honestly, not my favorite Mexican place I've had here in San Diego, although my kids like it, so we do go there every now and then. The rest of the places here are a physical therapy place, a optometry, and a dentist, kid's dentist. So not a ton of food options at this shopping center, but we're gonna go check out the one next door that has a few more options. We'll go check that out next. Okay, so now I'm right at the corner of Torrey Meadows and Camino del Sur. So this is kind of the Camino del Sur is like the main road here in Torrey Highlands. This connects all the way into Park Village and all the way up to like Del Sur neighborhood, which is just north of here. This is a pretty main road. You'll see kids on e-bikes here all the time, which is I find to be somewhat dangerous because they don't always follow the rules of the road. So if you have a kid over here that has an e-bike, just make sure that they wear their helmets and they try to obey the traffic laws here, because the speed limit on this road is 45 miles per hour. And people tend to go a lot faster than that, as you can see right here. This is also where the entrance to the freeway is, right ahead of me right here, just south of where I am at this moment. And it's also next to the shopping center, the main shopping center we have here in Torrey Highlands, called the Highlands Village Place. That's what we're gonna check out next. So the freeway entrance is right down there, as you can see right at the stoplight there. Got your freeway signs here. And then this is all the stuff we have at the center as we speak. We'll say that this shopping center in particular has one of the bigger turnover rates I've seen in restaurants. Like I said, I've lived here since 2016, and a lot of these restaurants have turned over multiple times since I lived here. So you see there's a realtor moving van back here. I used to have one on the street. I only had it for like 3 or 4 months, and it was parked right here on the road. And one of my daughter's dance teachers actually ran into it and totaled it while it was parked. So I no longer have the moving van. All right, so I'm gonna show you the one end of the shopping center now. Like I said, there's a lot of turnover in this shopping center recently, but one of the longest standing tenants right here, which is Vittorio's Italian restaurant, has been here as long as I've been here. So I think it's been here about 15 plus years. We have Stretch Lab, we have a global art studio, and this is the Prodigy dance studio that my daughter goes to, and her cousin goes to, a lot of people in the neighborhood go to, so very good dance studio. Then we have an Aikido martial arts studio right there. We have Pete's Coffee straight ahead, which I go to pretty regularly. You have Vaughn's grocery store right across the way. That's turned over a few times too. That used to be a Hagen's, and before that was an Albertsons. We have a tutoring place, Singapore Math. We have Studio Bar, that's actually been here a little while. And they have Chef Zhu Chinese restaurant. That used to be BT's Barbecue, but that has turned over in the last year or so. Down here at the corner, an optometry office, Spotlight Optometry. That's only been there for about a year as well. Down here, we used to have a Pizza Rab, which was like a Chipotle, a pizza place. I'm told now that's going to be a Japanese hot pot restaurant coming soon. And then we used to have Rubio's Mexican place right there. That's also gone, but I hear they're trying to get another Mexican place to take its place, or a sandwich shop, but that is currently empty. Then we have Joy's Dumpling House, we have Pita 22, we have Pacific Poke, which I actually really like, but I'm hearing that's turning into a Thai restaurant shortly. Nail Place, Nail Salon, we used to have a dry cleaner, that's gone, chiropractic office, and another dentist down the way. So this is the biggest shopping center we have in Torrey Highlands. There's some decent options, not great options. We could definitely use a sandwich place. I've been really pushing for Board and Brew sandwich place to come in here, but no one seems to listen to me. So if you know anybody that works at Board and Brew or wants to open a franchise for Board and Brew, definitely check out the Rubio's location here in Torrey Highlands. Okay, next stop on our tour of Torrey Highlands is going to be the only townhome condo area we pretty much have in all of Torrey Highlands. So it's right here ahead of me. This is Bellarado and Cortina. And I know I had said earlier that none of the communities really have pools in it, but I forgot about this one. So this is, these townhomes range from, I think they even have a 1-bedroom here, but they're 1-bedrooms to like 4-bedroom townhomes. Some have garages, some don't. It's actually a nice little community. They start price-wise probably right around $800,000 and go up as high as to about 1.3, 1.4 range. That's a pretty nice community. Some have their own garages, but they do have its own community pool over here, which you will see a lot of high schoolers in here a lot of the times, because the high school is right across the street. Whether they live here or not, I don't know. Got a little fountain in the middle here. Again, nicely landscaped throughout. And if you're trying to be in this area for under $1 million, this is one of your very few options in Torrey Highlands. If you go over to Rancho Penasquitas, which is just next door here, you'll have a few more options, especially you might even be able to find a house, well, maybe right around $1 million. But for townhomes, they probably start around $700,000 or $800,000 here and go up from there. I'm gonna see if I can show you the pool area. Well, you can't really see it because the fence is there and I do not have a key fob to get into it, but I assure you there is a pool behind that fence. So here are the streets here. You see a lot of people have, some have 2-car garages and then some have this single-car garage, depending on which floor plan you get. The bigger units usually have the bigger 2-car garage, and the smaller units like this one right here will have a 1-car garage. They do have Melloroos here. Actually, almost every home in Torrey Highlands will have some sort of Melloroos. They usually range between 15 to like 40 years long. So if you don't know what Melrose is, it's like a tax that goes onto your property tax. It goes in for infrastructure like roads and streets and schools and that sort of thing, and parks. Okay, so I think I'm on to my last neighborhood that we're gonna check out for Torrey Highlands. There are a couple other neighborhoods, but I'm trying to make this video less than an hour long. It's gone on a little bit longer than I was hoping. This is the neighborhood of the Greystone, Torrey Highlands. So this area is located just across the street from like the shopping area and sort of like Westview High School. So it's super centrally located. It's actually one of my favorite neighborhoods in Torrey Highlands because I love these trees in this neighborhood. So you can see, got some great trees over here, good shade as well. So it's a super cool neighborhood. And this is actually the only neighborhood, I think, I could be wrong about this, the only neighborhood that's zoned for Deer Canyon Elementary. And I'm gonna show you why, because there is a little path that kind of connects this neighborhood to the neighborhood across the way, which is where Mesa Verde Middle School is, which is all these homes are zoned for, mostly Mesa Verde Middle. If you want to be able to walk to all 3 schools, Deer Canyon, Mesa Verde, and Westview High School, this is a good neighborhood to check out. So this is the path that will take you directly to Mesa Verde, and then if you go to Deer Canyon Elementary, It's another block or two down the street there. So you'll see kids walking up and down here every single day for school. If you do live in this neighborhood, just know that people will drop their kids off on this side of the neighborhood and then they'll walk across here. So if you live in any of these houses like right here, you're gonna get a lot of cars here in the morning around, I think 8 o'clock, and then in the afternoon around, 2:30, 3 o'clock. So just keep that in mind. So I did my best to cover all the neighborhoods of Torrey Highlands, but I did leave a few notable neighborhoods out that I'll quickly mention here. There's Monet, which is a smaller neighborhood located just north of Westview High School. These homes range from about 2,000 square feet to about 2,400 square feet. We also have Torrey Del Mar, which is actually in the Carmel Valley zip code, but zoned for Poway Unified Schools. It has a huge park right in the middle, as well as a small shopping center located at the entrance of the neighborhood. And last but not least is the Arlo neighborhood located at Merge 56. This is the newest neighborhood in Torrey Highlands with 68 single-family homes and also a home to our real estate office. Okay guys, well that was my deep dive into the community of Torrey Highlands. Hopefully you guys enjoyed these. And if you do enjoy these, let me know what neighborhood you would like to see next. I know these ones are a little bit longer, but it kind of shows you a little bit more of the community and what it's like to live here. And as always, if this is your first time to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. I post new videos each and every week. And if you're ever looking to buy or sell in here in San Diego, I'd love to help you out. Thanks for watching. Catch us next time. Bye.